Okay, so let's get started on our neurographic self-portraits. And as you can see here, I have the things that you will need to start. One is a printout image of yourself. This is my daughter from a long time ago. This is transfer sheet, transfer paper. And you can see it actually left marks on my watercolor paper. I'm not going to worry too much about it, but it's just a reminder to you to use this carefully. And you will actually need a plain piece of paper, which I will provide, to keep your transfer sheet away from your watercolor paper while you're not using it, because it will get it dirty. But this is how it's going to go. Your first, and this is right to your good copy. The neurographic art that we started earlier, the one that you have done over the last 2 weeks that we worked on like that, and you colored in, that was your practice. Now we're moving on. I don't have my sample here. It's at school. But we're now moving on to our good copy, which is our self-portrait. And we're going to start with the watercolor paper first. Then you're going to put your transfer paper down. And your transfer paper, it's hard to see which way goes on the bottom. But if you can see, one side is completely black. The other side has a little bit of a white kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a texture going on there. You are going to put the black side down on your paper. You're going to kind of center it there. And then after that, on the white side, the one with the white texture, that's not as smooth. You can't really feel it. It's more that one side is very black. You can see the difference here. One side is very black and the other side has a little bit of a white to it. You're going to put that as evenly as you can on your paper. It's very soft and it's easy to get marks on your good copy paper, so you want to do this carefully. Then you're going to take your photo image and you're going to put them all on top together, and then you will get a piece of tape that is going to basically tape them like that all together as evenly as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's so it will hold it all together. Okay, you can see how I tape that right there. So now when I lift up, I see my image, then the transfer page, then my good copy paper. And now the fun begins. You are going to start using just a pencil and kind of blocking out. And I like to start with the shape of the face. You're not going to do too much detail. Forget about the background. So I'm going to really just start with the hair line, and I'm going to push down, kind of just capturing the shape. Okay? And you want to hold your paper down so it doesn't move around too much. And I'm going to go over here and down. And I'm going to just kind of elaborate there. Okay, so now if I lift up my paper, and that's why I want to be careful to keep it together nicely, you can see that, look what I get through. I get that the pencil mark coming through. That's what the transfer paper does. It pushes it out so it's copying. Next, I'm going to start focusing on the rest of the features. I'm going to kind of go up here with the chin and just kind of look carefully and see where things are. The photos aren't the best, but you're really just kind of capturing the shapes. Okay, so I'm going to do the eyebrows. Don't press too hard. I'm going to go like that there. And I just see these lines. And it may not be as perfect, but there's a little bit of shadow line there, a shadow line there. And let's see how I did for the face. It's kind of nice. It's kind of there. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on some eyelashes here. and see how that looks. It's pretty good. Pretty happy. Now is when I'm going to start doing the rest of it. And you have to keep an eye on where your pencil marks go. And I'm going to do the shoulders. And I'm going to kind of go beyond where my paper is a little bit. And ignore this part right now. We'll deal with that afterwards. I can put this necklace down. And we'll see what happens. I don't want to do any of the striped shirts. I don't want to do too much detail, like I said. But I do want to capture the waves in the hair. So I kind of draw a part line. And even though they're not that visible, it's really important that we capture some of the waves in the hair that we're drawing, or the curls, or however you see your hair, for the neurographic part of this activity. So even if it's not completely accurate, you can elaborate with your creative vision. And let's see what I got now. And I think that's pretty good. I don't love this, what's happening here, but I'm not going to worry about it. I can even cut my paper later. And I really like what's happening here. I didn't do the teeth well, but I'll just kind of add some teeth there. There we go. I added some teeth there. And it's not exactly perfect, but it captures the idea, which is what your goal is. Okay? Don't press too hard, like I said, with your pencil. Otherwise, it will get stuck a little bit. You want it to be a little bit free and loose. You don't have to press down that hard. So after I've done this, and I don't need this anymore, I'm now going to just kind of take this off. I don't really need this anymore. And because I've captured that image. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go over this with Sharpie. Okay? Or fine liner. I actually think I might do fine point first. And see some of the areas I might want to do fine point. And go, because I can get a little bit better detail. You get the idea of what we're doing. So you're going to go over that. And after you go over it, and I can finish that later, you're going to actually start to do the waves. And I actually want to just do the outline of my hair so I know the difference. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going over this afterwards. So I wanted to just divide my background now. Okay. So now I can see that my background is separate there. And this is when I want to do that swirly thing in the background like we did before. To add that neurographic. And I'm going to do it in pencil first, just in case. And I'm going to start doing just some, and I might do it in like one direction. Kind of go like this and around. And I don't want to do too many lines, but enough that it makes a difference. I don't know what happened here, but I'll fix that. And let me go over here. And there I have a bit of a background. And I can leave that now, or I can go over it too. And then I want to do the same thing with my hair. So I'm going to take a pencil and see how I have these strands here. I actually want to kind of make this neurographic, and I'm going to go around and do the same thing and make these lines cross over. So I have a little bit of interest there. And once I start to do that, I now have areas to work with that shows neurographic art. I can do a little bit, if I want, in my eyebrows. I can do a little bit in my eyes here. I can kind of go like that and make them a little bit neurographic as well. And I can do that with a fine liner, and I'll actually start to do that right here. And that way, when we add our color, it'll give it a little bit of an interest and separate the colors. Yes, it might look a little weird. Maybe I shouldn't have done the eyebrows. You don't have to do that. But we'll see how it turns out. There are no mistakes. Kind of can look neat. Anyway, the point is we're now going to neurograph it up. And you're going to go over all these lines. And I'm going to use my fine liner for the hair. And I'm going to attach those. And I really want to start the neurographic part, but I'm just going to kind of... And don't worry about any of the marks that are left there. Those will disappear once we add our color. And here we go. Remember, you can thicken up some of those lines too. It's okay. You can go over them if you want. It makes them a little more interesting too. You can get rid of that. And you can see how I'm starting to get. And I'm going to even just do that like myself now, just because I want it to be a little more interesting. Remember, they are U's or C's. You're rounding the corners. And you're going to keep going. It's going to take a while to get this part done. But remember, go slow. Go slow, really. Like, it'll take a while. You can always go back in and add a little bit more if you want. So see here, I'm going to just go with there and add a little more. And then I'm going to add a little bit there. And it'll look fantastic when we add our color, like I said before. Remember, patience, go slow, and good luck. And then you'll do the background. Okay. Can't wait to see what you're doing.